Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's talk about Amazon, the Kindle ecosystem, something that I have been in for these last 10 years or so. We are maybe dealing with the death of the Kindle ecosystem, at least as we know it, and its transition into something else that I will talk about towards the end of the video. There's three things that are actually pretty big about this change, about this transition, about this killing of the way that Kindle used to work. The one that's probably gotten the most attention recently is the fact that they are going to be discontinuing support for older devices. So if you have a device from before 2012, it's no longer going to be able to access the store and buy and download books directly. Instead, you are going to have to download those books and transfer them via USB if you want to continue using the device. But there's a big catch with that. Now, I actually consider this the least important of the three things that I'm going to talk about today. And that's because you can see with this device, this is my original Kindle from like 2010 that I think my mom bought me for Christmas. The battery on it doesn't work anymore. I can't get this to resurrect. I don't really know of how to change the battery. If I did, would I really care about changing the battery? Is this a device that I really feel like I need to keep using? I've kept it around. It's really e-waste at this point just because I guess I have some memories attached to it and I was wondering if I could get it to work again. I have a lot of affection for these early devices. They are way more capable in a lot of ways compared to the newer ones. I like the fact that they were designed with a physical keyboard. I like the physical buttons. This plays MP3s. And the whole thing really represents a different approach to the way that they were designing the ecosystem and designing devices to read books 16, 17 years ago. The e-ink, of course, was brand new and it was a very slow refresh rate, but they made the device really capable because it had to be. The way that people usually operated devices, you have to think this is coming at the end of like the iTunes era. People were used to plugging their iPod into their computer and transferring songs onto their iPod to listen to. They were used to hooking their phone up to get photos off their phone. This is the early days of the iPhone. So connecting your device via USB was like the main way that people managed their files. It wasn't like what we do now where everything's managed wirelessly in the cloud and whatnot. So this could play MP3s so that you could download your audiobooks and you could put them on here and you could listen to the MP3s of your audiobooks, and it could read PDFs. So it could read a wide variety of formats. You could read your textbooks on this because those usually came in PDFs. I actually use this for my sheet music. So I would put my sheet music on this and you could go to a gig and just kind of page through it with the buttons, which I liked the physical buttons, and I was really fond of this device. I thought it was a great device. Had this cool carrying case that was super thick to protect what's honestly a pretty robust device just on its own. But these are going away, and notice this one has no battery. I don't know anyone else who uses one of these devices from 2012. The idea that a device should be supported indefinitely, that's just not realistic. It doesn't follow with anything else that you can think of. Well, I shouldn't say there's none, right? The PS3 still gets updates. So there's some devices out there that are still supported, but Nintendo stopped supporting devices after a while. Your original iPhone is not supported anymore, right? You can get a couple of years. This one has been supported for like 16 years. That's a really long time to allow the device to be supported. So if you still have one that still somehow works from like 2010, that's great for you. I don't think Amazon is ending support simply because it's an old device though. So if you're like, well, I can keep using it by transferring my files via USB. Well, if you go on the website, you'll notice that there was the functionality to just download your ebooks, like to download your EPUBs or your AZW files from the Amazon website. That got removed in February. So if you were like, well, I'll just download all my ebooks to my computer and just put them on my Kindle, or I could put them on another device, a competing device. Well, that functionality was removed from the website. What's happening in June, so that's number two, what's happening in June is they're getting rid of the current Kindle app for Windows and they're replacing it with a Windows 11 only app. So you really won't be able to use your old devices, I expect. There's just not going to be any meaningful way to load your Kindle books that you bought on Amazon onto them. What you could do is you could use a third-party program like Calibre to convert ebooks that you got from somewhere else or ebooks that you already had on your computer somehow. Like if you get one from me that's like an EPUB, you can convert it to AZW, put it on your old Kindle device, and continue using that device if it still works and you still really enjoy using that older device. But the Kindle ecosystem is going to lock those older pieces of hardware out. Why? Well, because a lot of them don't support DRM. They don't support digital rights management. So they're open for piracy. They're open for competitors to use. And I think the entire strategy of what's going on here is that Amazon is wanting to transfer. They're wanting to finally close down the Kindle ecosystem, so there's no longer a buying files which you own and you have on your computer and you can store yourself and you have control over, to a completely managed experience. That is to say, it'll be more like an app on your phone. So you open it up, there's your library, you hit the book, it either streams it to your device or maybe downloads it to your device. Ebooks are very, very small file sizes, so there's no reason not to download them directly to your device. You can actually still read all of your ebooks on the web from Amazon if you want to, right? So there's a web reader. So everything is going to be locked down and managed so that if there's a book that they don't like, they can just remove it from your library. They can just take it away. So rather than you owning the thing, feeling, even though it's just a file that you download onto your hard drive, there's a feeling that you own it, that you bought it and you own it, you control it, you have that file, you can do whatever you want with it. You can put it on whatever device, you can read it in whatever way you want, you can copy out of it, you can do whatever you want with that file. They're trying to remove that capability so that it's a managed experience. It's a content experience more like maybe Netflix or YouTube, where you have to go on their app, you have to go on their website in order to access the content. And that means they can have a lot more control over what content is seen, what legacy content is. If they want to ban a book, they can ban the book and just delete it from your library and it's gone. So you'll lose access to books that you paid for. If there's some kind of licensing agreement that expires, they now have the ability to remove that stuff from your library. They've done sort of the same thing with Audible. Audible was like, you own these things. So if you canceled your membership, you could still listen to the books. Now it's more like, oh no, it's a subscription like Netflix, and you can just pick one book a month to kind of add to that subscription. That's not nearly as pro-consumer as like, well, I own these books, I bought these books, I bought these audiobooks. It's like, no, the audiobooks are just another subscription service, and you're just really limited onto what audiobooks you can download on that. And I could even see them transitioning into something that's closer to a Netflix model, where you're just paying a subscription for audiobooks and listening to whatever audiobooks you want on that. Similar to Kindle Unlimited. They've been doing Kindle Unlimited for a long time. It's not a big moneymaker for independent artists like myself, and there's a lot of reasons for that it just take too long to get into this video on, but we always like to sell the books. It makes us more money. It gives you better control. You get a file that you can do whatever you want with. It's just better that way. I just like being able to sell a book to someone. And so my encouragement to you as you're thinking about this is, well, where else can I get my ebooks so that I can just manage those files? If you like the managed experience of the Kindle ecosystem, that's great. But I'd like to introduce you to a much more robust piece of technology, which is the book, the real physical book. So here's King Leopard. This is written by me, cover art by Jesse White. You can see his stuff behind me too. Maps by me, right? Hardback book. You can get this on Amazon. You can buy it from Amazon. Amazon will ship it to you. You can put it on your bookshelf. It can live there forever. Amazon can never delete the book off your real bookshelf. You can never have it taken away except, I guess, in some weird future where my books are banned by the government or something. And you'll have these wonderful drop caps. You'll have the book forever. And it doesn't run out of batteries. The batteries don't die on it. Okay. It doesn't require. Now this one doesn't have a backlight. It never had a backlight on it. So you always had to use an extra book light. Yes, you have to use a light source for this. You can get a book light, which you can replace every 5 years or whatever, instead of having a backlit Kindle screen. This will never run out of batteries. If you want to loan it to someone, you just go, here you go, and you just hand them the book, and they get to read the book that you want. You can go to the library, and the library is literally full of these things that you can pull off the shelf, and you can read, and you can put back, and you can own it forever. Okay, so this older technology is far more robust. It has much better control over your right to own the thing that you paid for. And you could burn the book if you want to. You can do whatever you want to. But the main thing is no one can decide what you can and can't do on your book device with the book that you bought. They're just far more lendy. And I will tell you that the experience is better too. I don't mind ebooks. I have read tons of ebooks. But if it's like, I'm choosing what experience is better, it's always a physical book. It's always better to read them off the page. And the way that you read, sometimes you're like, I'm going to go back a page and, okay, that's that. And I'm going to go, when's the next break? So like flipping through pages, it's just a better, more efficient, more fun experience. Reading a real book, it's just a better experience. I always will prefer real books. And the virtue to me of a real book too is that I can get one used and save money, and I can give it away if I don't want it, and someone else can get a deal on it too. So there's all kinds of benefits to having real books. So I encourage you to continue buying real books. You can buy them from Amazon. My books are just available to buy on Amazon. They're print on demand. We now have the technology that we don't need ebooks to get a book on demand. We can have on-demand paperbacks. Yes, they're more expensive, but it's a much more robust technology. So if you really love a book, you want to have it for a long time, you want to reread it, buy a physical book and have the joy of having a physical edition. For other people who are really happy with their current Kindle libraries, every so often you'll have to buy a new device because yours will wear out. And it's just going to be that managed experience. That's what you're going to be looking forward to from now on, is that it'll be a more locked down ecosystem, one that you can't pull your files off of and take somewhere else, one that you're going to have a harder time putting other files into. I discovered this kind of recently. I used to use the Kindle app on my phone to read all kinds of other ebooks and things, and it just wasn't loading those up. And it turns out they made some kind of alteration to the app so that it doesn't do that. It's okay. You can just get another app that reads PDFs and that reads ebooks that you download off the internet. Not that big a deal. But, they're trying to control their ecosystem, and that's what I think it's about. But I'd love your opinion down below. What do you think about it? Do you think it's bad that they stopped supporting these ancient devices? Do you think it's bad that they're going to create a more managed ecosystem? This is more modern. It's a more modern way of looking at what we're doing. And that, to me, is not necessarily a good thing. I like a more old school experience of you have control over what's on this, and you can listen to some Slayer albums on your old one too. Anyway, leave me your thoughts. I'd love to have them, and check out King Leopard. You can get the physical edition on Amazon. It'll be blue instead of this lovely green color, which was exclusive to the Kickstarter. And I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.